Hello and thank you very much for joining me here at Angie B Crafts. So today I'm going to do number 2 in my series using shaving foam as a medium to transfer colour onto paper to get some backgrounds and some interesting imagery. So we're going to be using Distress Oxide Sprays. So these are a dye and pigment mix. So the dye is the colour of the liquid and the pigment is the bits that float in it. So you will see that there's a kind of powderiness at the bottom and then a darkness at the top, but if I now give this a shuggle and a little bit of a mix up, so I'm doing it side to side, you can do it up and down, but it does tend to get a little bit messy if you do that. And if you do that, just take the plastic cap off and cover it over with a cloth. So you can see now we're getting a consistent colour, so it's just changed it from being divided, as you can see here, to being a consistent colour. Okay, you might be able to see, oh no, you can't see it any more clearly with the purple. So I've gone for the browns and then I thought I'd add a purple. So the browns I've gone for are Vintage Photo, Walnut Stain and Ground Espresso. So I've shaken up one of them and I can't remember which, so I'm just going to shake them all a little bit and get them ready for use, and I will give them another shake just before I spray them as well. But that just starts the agitation process. I'm just going to use shaving foam. It's just bog standard shaving foam. This is a cheap one that I think I paid about £1 for. And I'm spraying it into my little tray. Now I have done an introductory video to this and using simple inks. If you've not already seen that, please feel free to pop over and have a look at that as well on my channel. So this is part of a series. Because I am spraying this at an angle, instead of holding it upright, if I held it upright it wouldn't be quite so noisy. But I'm spraying it at an angle, that's why we're getting that lovely farty noise. Okay, so I've put my foam in the bottom. I'm then going to add on my colour, and I'm going to start actually with the Vintage Photo because it's the palest. So I've mixed it up and then I'm going to start spraying, and then I'm going to move on to the Walnut Stain, which is darker again. And I'm just spraying little bits, and it looks here like a pudding. It looks like the top of a tiramisu, this actually, doesn't it? Looks very yummy. And I think for this one what I'm going to do is actually take the lid off and splatter. So I'm just going to use my paintbrush to just splatter. So I'm letting some of it go up into the tube and then splattering it over, because I don't want it just in one place or sprayed as much. Then I'm going to take my stick, which is the end of a paintbrush, and I'm just going to start mixing little patterns in. This looks like caramel. This is beautiful. Oh, it's making me feel hungry. Mind you, lots of things make me feel hungry. I think I just like food. That looks really, really yummy though. The other thing that you're going to need is some kitchen towel or a raggy. What I'm tending to do when I'm doing these videos is use kitchen towel just because it's easier for me to then offload it. But when I do it normally I would use my raggy. So I'm going to get a piece of, this is an A6 piece of card, so I've taken an A4 piece and I've just cut it into 4 pieces. And I've managed there to pick up 2 pieces, I just realised. There we go. So I'm just gently tapping. You don't want to go in right down to the bottom, because if you do that you've not got the option then of putting another layer on top. So you're just wanting to get contact with as much of your card, paper, whatever substrate you're using, with the top where the ink is. And then you get this, and it looks a bit, looks nice, but it doesn't look like it's going to do anything exciting, does it? So what we then do is we get our ruler, which has got a nice flat straight edge, and we put it on one edge and we scrape across. This is the best bit. Oh, that was a bit squeaky, apologies, but look how cool that looks. So that image that we had on top of the ink has transferred, on top of the foam, sorry, has transferred to our paper. How cool is that? And because it's Distress Oxide, it has that chalky look about it. You have liquid inside the shaving foam, and because of that you're going to be doing some of the oxidization process that happens when you add water to Distress Oxides. So you're going to get more of the chalkiness, which is a really good thing. It's one of the things that I love about Distress Oxides, is that chalky feel. So we've got this back again. I'm going to take my paintbrush, that's what this is called, I do know these things. I'm going to start putting more patterns in, but you'll already see we've now got what looks a little bit more like a cappuccino. I'm not a coffee drinker, so I'm thinking that's right, but apologies if I'm wrong. So we've just used browns, so we're just getting browny colours, which is fair enough. I'm going to do another pull and see what we end up with, and then I'm going to add another colour. Ta-da! There we have the next colour, and we do exactly the same thing. We get our straight edge and we pull across. So this is our second pull from this, and because we've not got a lot of variety in colour, it's not as overt that there's difference in the different tones here. It looks quite pale. If I bring it up you can see a little bit more of the detail, but that is from the same foam, so I've not added anything extra. I've literally just done a second pull from the same foam, so we're getting much less intensity. Let's try it if we add a little bit of purple. I'm going to add in some wilted violet. And you can see here we're starting to see the bottom of the container a little bit, so I'm going to intentionally just bring this over a little bit first, because you want the foam to be between the paper and the bottom of the container. That's the idea of it. So if you start to see gaps, you can just fill them in like that. So this is wilted violet, which is one of the fabulous purples in the Distress range. I love all things Distress. Oh, look at that. So I'm just going to do a couple of sprays of that, and then I'm going to get my brush again, and I'm going to go swirly this time. So we're getting some of the browns coming through, the paler browns, little bits of darker brown coming through, but we're also getting some white coming through from the lower levels. Oh, this is looking luscious, luscious. So you can just make whatever pattern you want, and then take your pull, and you can build in as many colours as you want to build in, but the way that these are reacting with being the Distress Oxides is really rather yummy. But I wanted to add something else to them on the next pull, which I will show you momentarily. So again, you can see we've taken the top layer of colour off, and it's all whiter, not white but whiter underneath. Exactly the same. So I was expecting here we're going to get swirls of browns, purple and white. Oh yes, how fabulous is that? That one looks stunning. I really like that one. That one makes my heart sing. Right, so each time I'm just cleaning off my ruler on the edge here. So for this one I'm going to again just do a little bit of swirling. So we're expecting this to be paler now. I'm going to bring some of this purple in as well that's sprayed onto the edges. So we're still getting quite a pretty pattern, but it's getting a little bit less intense in colour. Got some gaps there, so we'll just fill them in a little bit. Okay, so it's a much paler tone now, but what I want to do this time is I've got some mica powder here, so I'm just going to, I don't know if this is going to work, I will be honest with you, I have not done this before. I just thought let's see what happens if we add on mica powder. So I'm just tapping my brush into the mica powder and then just sprinkling little bits. So this is a pale purple mica that I've chosen. I'll do one more little dab. Now what I do know is that when you put powder, it doesn't necessarily mix, as in it sits as powder, it doesn't become liquid. I am going to do a little bit of a mix. Oh my word, that is just making it all shimmer. So I'm just doing some little swirls where there's quite big areas of mica. I'm just doing some little swirls just to add a little bit of interest, and we're getting some beautiful shimmer in there. Let's see if that's going to show up. I'm hoping it is, but I honestly don't know. I guess we're about to find out. I'm going to do one more bit of mica after this, I think. Let's see how this one comes out. Pop that out of the way. Let's get our flat edge. Oh yes, yes, that has added some sparkle. I don't know if you can see that. I'm hoping I can show that up at least a little bit in the light. There's definitely some sparkle there. We've got some nice little tiny little swirls. I think that sparkle will show up more as we dry it. Struggling to get it on camera, but it has actually picked up some sparkle. What's also happened is, as I've taken the edge of the ruler across it, it's moved some of the mica across. So I'm going to do one more thing with mica, and then that will be the end of the second one for you. This is just about giving you ideas of what you can do with your shaving foam. So this one, I'm going to put a good amount of the mica on. This colour is, I shall tell you in a moment, charcoal grey, but it is a mica, so it's shimmery. We know it's going to shimmer. So I'm intentionally putting a lot on here, far more than I did of the purple. I'm going to do an extra dip, add some quite big chunky areas. So we're still going to get some of the colour because we've still got the brown and the purple going on in the background. I always make sure I put my lids back on mica because I have a knack of knocking things over, and I don't want to do that with my mica. Having done it in the past, I know it's messy. So with this, I'm going to really mix it in a little bit more. Now this could go horribly wrong, so I am experimenting at this point. This isn't something that I've previously done. But let's see. I'm literally just mixing it in with the shaving foam. So we're not going to have the shaving foam on the card or the paper, but we want the mica to just transfer more shimmer. So I'm just mixing it in. And then what I think I'm going to do is add a little bit more of the purple. I'm liking this purple. It's terrible, isn't it, when you've not played with something for a while and then you suddenly start playing with it again, you kind of go, oh, I remember why I like that now. I remember why I like my Distress Oxides now. Right, so let's get a little bit of a mix in here. I'm hoping that some of this shimmer is going to come through with the purple. You can do whatever patterns you want on here. It's similar to, I don't know if any of you have ever used the water transfer systems that are out there where you can put your inks on top of water. I've never used them, so I can't tell you how effective they are or how they differ from this because I've never ever done them, but I'm thinking that it's going to be something similar to this. I'm going to put this in this way because I want more coverage and it's getting narrower. Right, let's see if this is actually going to give us a little bit of shimmer. Could go horribly wrong, but hey ho, it's only a piece of card. me see. You know what, I'm going to get a piece of kitchen towel and I'm going to give it a rub and just see if it shows up once we make sure. You can do this on all of your images. You can see we're starting to get some little black lines on it. That is actually the mica, because the mica we put on was black. And I'm thinking this isn't worked. I'm going to give it a quick blast and just see if heating it up brings it more to the surface. I do absolutely love the effects you get with this though. I'm thinking the bit that comes in contact with the paper is the top layer, and because I sprayed on top of the mica may not. Oh, actually, you know what? There's some shimmer there now. Not as much as there was on the other one, but there is actually a very small amount of shimmer there. Compare it to this one, there's an awful lot more shimmer on that one, but there's a tiny bit of shimmer. So yeah, that second way didn't work, but that's fair enough. But the first one, if you've got the mica at the top, right, do one more thing. I'm going to spray a little bit more of the purple. I'm going to get a little bit of a different colour. Let's go with gold this time. Why not? Because I happen to have it out. It's one that I've not used before. Oops. It's now all over me. Right. I'm going to get a different brush for this one because I don't want to put black in with gold particularly. These mica powders are brilliant. I got them from Arteza and they're just really good. Oh, the colours together there look beautiful. I really hope these do transfer because it looks stunning. Right, not going to add any more than that. That gold is really rich. It is called light gold. And let's get this. I'll just do a little bit of movement. So I want that mica to remain on top so that it will transfer to the paper. Right, pop this in. What I like about this is one lot of foam goes on and on and on and on. And you'll see if you do watch the first one in the series that you can get an awful lot of prints out of one lot of ink as well. So with these Distress Oxides, it may just be the colours I'm using, but I think it is generally going to be the Distress Oxides. You're not getting as many pulls when you use ink because it's just pure pigment. You get much more intensity in colour and therefore the colour lasts longer for the transferring of several different images. Well, you've certainly got the gold in there. That, I really hope you can see that gold on there. That's beautiful. So basically, if you are going to use the mica, you need to have that as the top layer in order for it to attach to the paper and not get drowned out, because you're pulling back all the other layers. So if you attach it to if you give it a chance to attach to the paper, then it remains visible. So otherwise you're taking off. Oh, that's becoming more intense as I dry it. Oh, that is gorgeous. This reminds me of something, I can't think what it is. You know what it is that this looks like? Please let me know, because it does remind me of something. I can't for the life of me think what. I'm hoping that you can see that fabulous goldiness in there. That's lovely. Right, so I'm going to leave it at that for this video. So we've done the Distress Oxides, and what I would say, as I've just said, is the Distress Oxides haven't got the same intensity of colour to be maintained as a pure pigment ink will have. So when we're putting them on, it's very, very quickly, this was the first pull and this was the second pull, we're very quickly diluting the colour. Whereas if we look at the ones that I've previously done on other pulls, these are the ones that were done with just ink. That was the first pull. That was the last pull. There's still obvious colour there. I think the colour's paling a lot more with the Distress Oxides. If you're adding on mica, make sure that you put the mica as the last thing down, so it's the first thing that is going to stick to the paper and therefore stay on the paper. But all in all, Distress Oxides and mica do work on the shaving foam technique. Thank you very much for watching. See you all again soon. Bye for now.